Yo, it's Joe from Photos with Phones. The other day we traveled to Washington, D.C. to show off what all 6 moment lenses look like on the iPhone 12 Pro Max. It was a little too hectic and windy for my microphone though, so today we're back here at home finishing things up. We'll briefly go over what the iPhone 12 Pro Max cameras can do before discussing how to attach moment lenses to the phone and showing you what each moment lens can do. First though, a change of scenery. The iPhone 12 Pro Max is Apple's pride and joy. Well, at least until yesterday. This behemoth boasts a triple camera setup featuring an ultra-wide, wide, and telephoto camera. The ultra-wide is an f2.4 with a 120 degree field of view. The wide is an f1.6 that has an equivalent focal length of around 26 millimeters. And the telephoto is an f2.2 that features 2.5 times optical zoom. As a whole, the device has 2.5 times optical zoom in potential, 2 times optical zoom out potential, and 5 times optical zoom range, and digital zoom up to 12 times. Additionally, this generation of iPhones also feature LiDAR, Smart HDR3, Apple Pro RAW, Dolby Vision, and improved image stabilization for smoother video. For those interested, the new iPhone 13 line, which was announced yesterday, will be fairly similar technically to what you're seeing on this phone, but it will introduce Pro Video Mode and Video Portrait Mode. Hey Mr. Cook, trying to send us one? I won't do any additional discussion on the iPhone 12 Pro Max camera because I'm guessing that you're here because of moment lenses. If you do want more information about the iPhone 12 Pro Max camera, then comment below. If enough people comment, I'll see what I can do as far as getting my hands on another one. That's enough of this location though, let's move on. So we came to the garden, I had to check on my corns. They're not looking very good. So, if you buy a moment lens, you have to make an additional purchase to mount it. Moment makes this abundantly clear on their website, but still some people fail to heed their warnings and then write negative reviews, so I'm just making it really clear. You have to buy a way to mount your moment lens. You can pick up any of these mounting options via the product links in the video description too. Do consider buying through my links as the nominal compensation that I receive helps me make more videos just like this one. Now that we got that out of the way, here's how to mount moment lenses. The M-Series case is the best blend of performance and cost effectiveness. Moment makes M-Series cases for newer iPhones, Galaxies, and Pixels. While the new ones are fairly expensive as far as phone cases are concerned, Moment does sell used cases that are much more cost effective. The M-Series lens mount is the best option for those that don't have any of the phones mentioned above. While I'm assuming you're watching this video because you have an iPhone 12 Pro Max, I'm just going to go ahead and mention it. The lens mount is okay, but certainly not worth ranting and raving about. That being said, if it is your only option for attaching Moment lenses, it's probably worth a try. The Beast Cage from Beastgrip is a super sturdy but fairly expensive option for mounting moment lenses, and Sandmark, Beastgrip, and traditional camera lenses too. The Beast Cage is also covered in 1/4 inch mounting holes, so any rig you can think of, you can create. If you want to learn more about the Beast Cage, then click on the video in the top right hand corner. Beastgrip does make the Beast Cage for iPhone only, but you can purchase something called the Pro Lens Adapter, which is like a universal Beast Cage sort of deal. Wow, was that fun to talk about? So fun, in fact, that I'm going to jump for joy. Just to be clear, that joke/transition was pretty embarrassing for me, so go ahead and roast the ever-loving bejesus out of me in the comment section. But we finally made it to the good stuff. We're going to mount all 6 moment lenses to the iPhone 12 Pro Max wide camera because the telephoto was having some serious issues while we were out shooting, and because of R&D I keep wanting to say limifications, and that's not a word. It's like a combination of limitations and Lilliputians, and you probably don't read Gulliver's Travels, so here we are.
I am General Edward Edwardian, commander of Lilliput.
All hail Lilliput! All hail Lilliput!
The ultra-wide has R&D limitations that make it so you can't mount moment lenses to it. First, I'll show you video from all the lenses in the same location so that you can get a sense of what these puppies can do. Then we'll discuss each lens a little more in depth. So, now that you got a basic idea of what each moment lens does, let's talk more in depth about each. The lenses are in Joe's arbitrary order, but you can find a specific lens via the chapters below or by going to these times listed on the screen right now. Wait. Now. Third time's the charm, I guess. The Moment 18mm wide lens is 2 times wider than the standard wide lens on the iPhone 12 Pro Max and slightly wider than the ultra wide lens on the iPhone 12 Pro Max. By adding the Moment wide lens to the wide camera on the iPhone 12 Pro Max, you can take full advantage of everything the phone can do in a wider focal length. This Moment lens also features no image distortion, so your photos and videos will be crisp from edge to edge. Pick up the Moment 18mm wide lens if you're a beginner or you're into landscape photography, real estate photography, or vlogging on your phone. The biggest con about the 18mm wide lens for Moment is that it lacks a distinct look when compared to other Moment lenses. To be honest though, this isn't really a con because it makes it great for beginners. That being said, this particular Moment lens isn't the best for more experienced shooters. The Moment 58mm telelens boasts 2 times optical zoom on the iPhone 12 Pro Max's wide camera and 5 times optical zoom on the Pro Max's telephoto one. That being said, as I mentioned earlier, we had some issues with the iPhone 12 Pro Max's telephoto. Moment's 58mm produces a tasteful bokeh that's preferable to the software-induced one available in portrait mode. Additionally, the 58mm tele compresses your depth of field, making the background of the photo appear closer to the subject. This look is what makes the Moment 58mm telelens so enticing for smartphone portrait photography. You might also like the 58mm tele for shots of wild animals in nature that you just can't get very close to. The biggest con of Moment's telelens is the working distance. On the iPhone 12 Pro Max's wide camera, the working distance is 7 inches, and when mounted on the telephoto one, it's over 3 feet. If you're like me, you may have thought that using the Moment 58mm as a quasi-macro lens was a good option, but in messing around with it, the working distance makes that impossible. The 14mm fisheye for Moment is surprisingly useful. The lens boasts a 170-degree field of view, which is 30% wider than the ultra-wide camera on the iPhone 12 Pro Max. One would think that this fisheye effect would make photos and videos look gimmicky, but Moment has towed that line exceptionally well with their new fisheye. I particularly like the Moment fisheye for talking head stuff and would also recommend it for music videos and action shots. The biggest con of Moment's 14mm fisheye is that focus gets spotty as you move out from the center of the photo or the video thanks to the fisheye effect. This image distortion is definitely not as bad as other fisheye lenses though, and is to be expected with a fisheye effect. This 10x macro lens for Moment is undoubtedly the Moment lens I would most recommend to traditional photographers and filmmakers. While a dedicated macro lens for a traditional camera is totally foreign to use, the Moment macro is dumb easy to use. Capture 10 times optical zoom when mounted on the wide camera of the 12 Pro Max and 25 times optical zoom when attached to the telephoto. If you need to capture branding, textures, or anything the size of your fingernail, then the Moment 10x macro lens is a must-have. All that being said, the Moment 10x macro lens is not without cons. The field of focus for the lens is super small and there's nothing you can do about it. You can mitigate the amount of out of focus bits of your photos and videos by shooting things straight on as opposed to at an angle. Moment's 1.33 times blue flare anamorphic is a mobile filmmaker's dream. With a 2.4:1 cinemascope aspect ratio, you get a Hollywood widescreen look after you de-squeeze the footage, of course. With the blue flare anamorphic, you also get some Michael Bay-esque blue lens flares that have a serious Star Trek vibe. If that's what you're into, then this is the lens for you. If you prefer a more tasteful lens flare though, stick around for the discussion of Moment's gold flare anamorphic. With that being said, it's probably pretty easy to guess the con of Moment's blue flare anamorphic. Blue flares are just a bit harsh for my taste. Additionally, you'll have to purchase a way to de-squeeze your anamorphic footage for it to look correct. Here's what it looks like out of the camera versus what it looks like de-squeezed. I'm not going to go into a lot of depth in regards to de-squeezing, but you can use one of these apps, Bcam, Moment Pro, or Filmic Pro, or a computer editing software like Final Cut Pro, Adobe Premiere, or DaVinci Resolve to de-squeeze your anamorphic footage. If you want to learn more about the apps that de-squeeze anamorphic footage, then watch the video in the top right hand corner comparing Bcam and the Moment Pro camera app. The gold flare anamorphic from Moment is their most recent offering and my preference when it comes to mobile anamorphic lenses. I find the lens flares from the Moment gold flare anamorphic lens to be tasteful in every lighting scenario, whereas the blue flare looks out of place at times. As was the case with the blue flare, you'll get the 2.4:1 cinemascope aspect ratio that's become popular in Hollywood movies. You will also need to de-squeeze your footage from this lens. As is the case with the last Moment anamorphic lens, the biggest con of the gold flare is that it needs to be squeezed, and that's yet another purchase that has to be made in a line of fairly substantial purchases. If you know of any free options for de-squeezing mobile anamorphic footage, then please comment them, and I'll keep a running list in the pinned comment of this video. Unsatisfied with what you've learned here today? The full 17-minute Moment lens review video will provide the additional information that you're looking for. And that's all we got for you. If you feel like you got value from this video, go ahead and hit the like button down there. It really helps photos with phones out a lot because it forces YouTube to show our videos to other people. Because of the algorithm. Comment which Moment lens you're going to pick up after watching this video. If you aren't sold on Moment, then check out the Moment vs. Sandmark series playlist, linked in the top right-hand corner. Sandmark lenses are a little less expensive than Moment, without sacrificing on quality. As always, subscribe to the channel and turn on that notification bell. We're coming out with twice weekly mobile photography and filmmaking, tips, tricks, hacks, reviews, and unboxings, anything that you could want to know if you like taking photos and videos on your phone. Toodles. See you in the next one. Bye!